Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that are over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. They mean the world to me. If you're interested in subscribing to the channel, please feel free to go to engelgeist.com and look up, go to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist. You can choose a subscription level over there. It helps support the channel on a monthly basis. Any and all subscriptions are greatly appreciated because they just kind of keep me able to do this work. This is a daily forecast for the greater collective, therefore it will be spoken in broad terms. You have to figure out where it fits in your life. If for any reason it doesn't fit, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's wrong or broken. It just might mean that you might be doing something or working on something different than the majority of the viewers that may tune into this video. This video is originally set up for Monday, July 11th, January 11th. We're talking about 111, guys. That's actually kind of a cool date. And angel number date there. And, but it is also a timeless reading in the sense that if you're watching on a date that's not January 11th, that's okay. The message still may be for you. Watch the video through and see if you can glean anything out of it that might work or help support you in whatever you're dealing with. Now, always I say this nowadays, that anything you do, after watching any of my videos, if you choose to make any decisions in your personal life after having seen the information in any of my videos, know that those decisions are solely your responsibility. Using always your own highest intelligence and intuition in making those decisions is key and the most important in all of this. Never take anything that I say over that of a professional in their field, like a doctor, lawyer, or therapist. Always heed what they have to say first. Use my videos to sort of support and validate you and help you to, basically access your own information so that you can make your own decisions. That's the purpose of these readings, okay? It's not to make the decisions for you. So let's see what's going on Monday the 11th and see what we've got going on here. What do the cards want us to know? All right, we have this Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful card. I love this. So this is new opportunities, new beginnings. We are starting a new week. We have that energy of the Lovers underneath this. So remember, like, if there's any sort of idea, like with the Lovers underneath this, I feel like anything that we're focused on that's based in love, excitement, that giddiness, that sort of thrill, now's the time to really channel that, to really look to that, to tap into that, because I feel like we can take that, what this Ace is telling me is we can take that out of sort of thin air and make it into something material. And what I mean by that is that hand's obviously emanating out of nowhere, out of the clouds, and it's telling us like, here's the idea, here is the opportunity. Here is the new beginning towards something that is material, beneficial, and positive for us, right? Sometimes this can be new business ventures sort of coming to us out of the blue, but I feel like with the Lovers underneath, which we saw in yesterday's reading, it really speaks to the idea that there are new opportunities here. I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles, it might be a little ways away, like it's not like boom, everything magically opens up and we just have it. But the idea is there, the precious idea, the thought, and this will be around certain things that you might be trying to achieve. So you place this where it fits best. If you're trying to achieve a loving, romantic relationship, well, that could come to materialization with this Ace of Pentacles. It's going to require maybe a little bit of work, a little bit of dedication, but the being powered by that Lovers card underneath, it's really an awesome opportunity to make that happen. The reason why I feel like it's a little bit far off in the future is that path down below with the trellis. It feels like we kind of have to do the work, walk the path, stay dedicated, create the focus, and channel the positivity that we saw in the weekly towards this new endeavor or opportunity that could be presenting itself to us. For some of us, it may only be just an idea at this time, but the actual, sort of reality of it or the actionable steps that we can take will be showing themselves to us as we move forward. We just need to stay focused, kind of eyes on the prize. To me, that giant pentacle is the prize. Like I said, for each one of you, the prize may be something different. What is it that you want? How is it that you want it? How will it feel when you have it? These are the things that you want to concentrate on. These are the things that you want to look at, live in, focus on, and let guide you. Let's see what's going on with our clarifiers. So our first card is the Four of Swords. We saw this yesterday in those special readings that I did in that live event. This Four of Swords, to me, it is about going inward and reflecting, mentally giving the mind some peace, right? I also feel like with this Four of Swords, it's not necessarily, there is this idea of pulling away in the Four of Swords where we go inward and we kind of take our own time. I think this is about meditating on things more so than anything. It's like a positive pull away. It's a positive sort of clearing away the voices in our head or the opinions of others, not necessarily letting those things deter us from the possibility of what it is we want and how it is we're going to go about creating it. We may not be able to fully see the path or the steps that need to be taken right now, and that might be what this Four of Swords is indicating, is that we need to kind of go inward and ask ourselves, reflect, spend time in dialogue. What would it feel like to have this, right? That's that Lovers card underneath all of this. If we're running that energy, if we're really sitting in that major arcana Lovers feel, and Lovers is the sign of Gemini, which would be the element of air, which would tie into this Four of Swords. We want to calm the mind and get really clear, stabilize our mind, and start to begin to figure out an actionable plan to move forward towards the goals that we want. We have the King of Wands. Now, we saw him at the very end of the clarifiers last week, and he was sort of sitting there, and remember, he sort of looked like a bit like a deterrent to me. Now, the King of Wands is the element of fire, which would go pair nicely with that Four of Swords and the Gemini Lovers card, right? Because Wands is not only about fire, and Gemini is about the sign of air, but Lovers is also about love, and the King of Wands would be about desire, hence his red cape, right? Or his red gown there. He's very much about being dynamic, taking steps towards going after it, that sort of a thing. But what I feel like this could be going on here is this could be that king that we saw in yesterday's forecast. And yesterday's forecast will be down in the lower, at the end of this video, it'll be down in the lower, if you're facing the screen, the lower left-hand corner. If you click on that, you can watch this to understand what I'm referring to. It's the weekly forecast. This person that might be sort of trying to attempt to block us by week's end might pop their head up today. If we start to share our experience or our ideas, the ideas being this Ace of Pentacles and the excitement around them, we might prick up the king's ears if this is somebody outside of ourselves, potentially a fire sign. But it's going to be somebody that's a little bit authoritative, a little bit pushy, maybe a little bit even could be stubborn, single-minded of purpose, kind of an action-oriented person. If this person is kind of watching what you're doing, this could be a partner for some of you, or a family member, or a business coworker. If they're keeping an eye on what you're doing, their ears have pricked already, right? We saw a really good reading going on for this week. He shows up towards the end where he may actually try and step in the way or bring things up from the past. That was kind of the interpretation I was getting. So if some of you guys have this person around you, they might be paying attention to whatever it is you're doing. And that's also the power of this Four of Swords, is like pulling back, not necessarily sharing everything you have with them. Doesn't necessarily mean that you don't believe in your ideas or your desires, or your desires aren't strong enough for what it is you want. It's just like, let's be careful about who we allow in to affect our dreams, right? Or our creation of our purpose and our plan, right? We want to be careful with this, because that's the Four of Swords energy, is like making sure the plan is all ours and ours alone, right? The King of Swords, if this is you, right? If this is not an outside entity, if this is not a person outside of you that's affecting you, this King of Swords could certainly represent as you being dynamic and wanting to go after it. I feel like there is sort of a fight between this Four of Swords and the King of Wands, though. We want to get clear on this. The clearer we can get mentally on what it is and how it is we're going to step forward, the better off we're going to be. This King of Swords could want to move quickly. It could be an urgency within you. I would say be careful of that, because we don't want to act too quickly. Know that if this King of Swords is you, you have the authority and the capacity to make the right move at the right time. You don't have to act like on impulse immediately, all right? And then the last card is the Death card. Interesting. So Death is the sign of Scorpio. Totally fine there. To me, the Death card indicates a transformation needs to take place. I feel like there's a transformation in that Four of Swords, right? Where we are sort of pulling back and going inward, getting our mind clear and deciding what steps we want to take. Then the King of Swords could be us actually beginning to take those steps from a very positive, kind of empowered place. Death means that there might be some sort of transformation that has to take place so that we can move forward, right? Death is never a bad thing. It's always inevitable. So if we want this change, or we desire the things that we saw in yesterday's reading, and we want, you know, a different 2021 versus the 2020 we just had, we're going to have to, like, sort of, you know, for some of us, maybe clear house, do a little bit of a spring cleaning, and that would be this death card, right? In moving this, moving out of our way, whatever doesn't work, whatever sort of holds us back, right? And allowing that to die off, or our connection to that to die off. If we look at this, there's a lot of different people laying in the streets. It's a pretty miserable picture, right? We even have a king laying there on the ground if you look at that, right? It's pretty sad. And then we've got the woman wailing, we've got the priest here. So this to me speaks a little bit to, like, you know, maybe societal norms standing in our way. That would be the priest to me, you know, like people telling you, oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, that's usually somebody else's information is how I see it. And death kind of cuts through that, right? Death sort of overtakes that no matter what. So there could be a shift in how you deal with maybe people in your life, or who you let in all the way into some of your ideas right now. But I think that's completely fine, because we're protecting whatever this Ace of Pentacles is, whatever this desire is that we want to bring to fruition. Letting everybody in on our plan maybe isn't necessarily the best idea, only because we don't want to have them transform it for us. We want to allow the transformation to be natural and work in our favor, if that makes sense. I do feel like death is here to do that. He clears the path for us to get what we want, right? And so, or he clears the path for us to be ready so that we can move towards what it is that we have next for us. So remember that. Remember also too, the grounding stone for this week is that success stone. So we want to stay focused on that idea of success. We certainly see that success reflected in that Ace of Pentacles. So we're kicking it off in a very big way. Now, here is the grounding stone for today. Today is wisdom. It is on obsidian, which I love that. If we're grounding in our wisdom, we're also grounding in this deep, dark obsidian, which will also ward off any negativity. So there's no fear about this death card. Allow the transformations to take place. Allow the wisdom to sort of challenge you. Not challenge you, but to, like, carry you through the transformations that death may bring today. If anything shifts and changes unexpectedly, roll with it. Go into this Four of Swords energy and allow it to happen. Sit from the place of the King of Wands, where stay stuck on your desire, if anything. If this King of Wands is somebody that's getting in your way, that isn't allowing you to move forward, or is trying to maybe stop you, they may not show you that they're trying to stop you just yet. They might be there trying to act as if they're a support, but as they listen to you, their truth might come out a little bit later down the line, right? With that, what we saw in in yesterday's forecast, right? Where we saw that Ten of Swords, which could also indicate that death energy that we're seeing now. We might have just sped up the end of the week to now, or that this death is like the harbinger of that Ten of Swords. Like, it's letting us know, okay, we're gonna have to face something. And when I was looking at that Ten of Swords from yesterday, surrounded by this King of Wands, to me it seemed like, you know, wherever we place limitations on ourselves mentally, we need to let those things go. So don't be surprised if we're challenged by that this week, but that's okay. We can take action or steps towards relieving ourselves of that, is certainly through this Four of Swords energy. I hope that makes sense for you guys. I think that it does. I really have a feeling that this will be a good week. Seeing death so early in the week, it is a transformative week, certainly, but that's going to be okay. That also dovetails with the Ten of Swords that I saw, so I'm not worried at all. The wisdom stone says to me, just stay in your wisdom and stay focused on that success, and it is totally, totally attainable this week. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.